Is it an addiction?
Is it an addiction? No, I don't think it's an addiction. I think it does put me, like, it makes me happy. But no, it's not an addiction.
So, for once in my life, let me get what I want. Lord knows.
You're gonna live with me now. Huh? I'm gonna take care of you. Because I love you.
Welcome to the fucking show.
Welcome back to Fantasy Football by Committee, powered by Flurry Sports. It can be tough to win a fantasy league on your own, but at FFBC, we will work together to bring home the hardware. Hosted by Zach Bruner and the rest of the Flurry Sports crew, we will give top-level analysis, answer your questions, and, well, go off on other tangents.
That was after I tried to get ChatGPT to admit that 9/11 was an inside job, but it stood firm. It gave quite a few solid points that it was true.
Welcome to Fantasy Football by Committee. The show starts in 3, 2, 1.
How is it going, everybody? Welcome back to Fantasy Football by Committee here at Flurry Sports. Luke Rammer in the middle, Trevor Land on the right. I am Zach Bruner, and it is Week 14, the final week with buys in the NFL season. It seems way too late for there to be any buys, but this is the final one. Two teams off, the Cardinals and
football team.
So two teams that you probably don't have anybody worthwhile on your fantasy team from, but there's a chance you do. And the fact that you have a bye, most likely 1 week before your fantasy playoffs, definitely sucks. I sympathize with you there. But if you have any weird lineup situations, any weird start sits, we are here to answer your questions, whether you're watching this live or after the fact. Drop your questions in the comments below. And this is the ranking show. We go over the fantasy football rankings every single Wednesday night. Apologies that there was no Monday show for waiver wires. I didn't think there was any huge waiver wire additions, and I was gone all weekend, so I needed to play catch up with some stuff here at home. I was up north all weekend, so I took that time off. But if you guys have any weird waiver wire questions, any weird ad drop questions as well, feel free to ask those. But yeah, like I said, there really wasn't like a must pick up, must add. There's not really a must drop. But we can just jump into quarterbacks here. And I've already looked ahead, comparing mine to the consensus just to see where I'm at. And I'm pretty in line with everybody else, I think, this week, at least to start. My number one quarterback is Dak Prescott. He's been lights out. I have him at home against the Eagles. On the other side of the game, I have Jalen Hurts at QB2 at Dallas, Josh Allen 3 at the Chiefs, Tua 4 versus the Titans, and then I have Lamar 5 versus the Rams. Little iffy about Lamar there, but we shall see. Luke, what do you think of those 5?
I mean, I'd be curious to pick your brain on Lamar Jackson. I just picked Lamar Jackson up in my guillotine league that I've been riding CJ Stroud with, since Anthony Richardson got hurt. I think that comes on the back of CJ Stroud's awesome. I don't know how much more awesome he is without Tank Dell, but I don't know. I like Lamar this week. I think Ravens are in for a big win here. Coming off of a bye, it seems everyone should be rested. Feels like the Ravens haven't been this healthy in years, right? And, coming off a bye, making a playoff push, I think the Ravens kind of stomped the Rams in this game.
Yeah, they certainly haven't been this healthy in a while. They've been my Super Bowl pick past 2 years, and they've had injuries both of those years. I got off them this year, so, book them to the Super Bowl, essentially. Lamar's just not really using his legs as much. He's not finishing in the end zone, and, they get in. They don't have to pass it to Mark Andrews. They have Gus Edwards running it in. And that's not saying, I've been saying it all year, Lamar Jackson's my MVP this year. I think he's playing the best he's ever played. I think the Ravens may be the best overall team in the league at least on the AFC side. It's just for fantasy, he hasn't been that great. So I have him at 5. I'm probably going to lower him at least below Brock Purdy. It would be hard for me to put him behind Patrick Mahomes, though. So I think 6 is probably as low as I'll drop him. But, another guy you can make a case for over him, I suppose, is Justin Fields. But we shall see. Trevor, what do you think of those quarterbacks?
As long as Brock Purdy doesn't win MVP, I'm fine with Lamar winning it. But, is there anything more automatic in football than at least one Jalen Hurts tush push this year? Or brotherly shove or whatever? I mean, it's just automatic. Really hope they don't rule it out, but it's automatic. And until they do, he's going to get you to assume a rushing touchdown a week. That's at least 6.1 points on your team. And he really doesn't have to do much else. Like, even before he went off really late against the Bills, he did not have a good game, but fantasy-wise, he had a good 20 points pretty easily. So he shouldn't probably, in my opinion, be any lower than 2 or 3 the rest of the year. And, even against Dallas, there's no way they stop that. There's no way they can stop him on the ground enough to not be a top 3 quarterback.
Yeah, I remember going into last season, we have our boom bust consistency rankings, and Jalen Hurts was the most consistent quarterback. Really loved him because of that. Obviously he has the ceiling, but the fact that he has such a high floor, we loved him then. This year, it's got to be the same thing. I imagine he's going to be the most consistent quarterback at the end of things here. But we'll see. If Dak Prescott keeps balling, maybe it'll end up being him. We shall see. You talked about the tush push. Steve wants to know how about the love shove.
I hate that name.
Yeah, I think he's talking about Jordan Love's run. Yeah, it was something. It was a little less graceful, a little less effective, but it was fine. It was fine. One of his better plays of the game, in my opinion. Let's go a little bit further down. I do have Justin Fields coming off a bye at 8. I have Justin Herbert at 9. It's pretty incredible how terrible that Chargers offense looks.
Yep.
They played I think the Patriots still have one of the best defenses in the league. So I think you can factor that into last week's performances a little bit, but holy fuck. Like this there's no excuse for how bad this Chargers offense is. I understand we all want to blame Brandon Staley, which is hilarious because he has nothing to do with the offense. Right. There's so many problems in LA. And Herbert's one of them. Like, as much as people don't want to consider it, he's one of them. For fantasy, he still has been okay, but like, I don't think he's a must start at this point anymore.
I'm not comfortable starting him.
Yeah. Against the Broncos too. Like, the Broncos are at this point now, I would say, an average defense.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
They're not great. They're not Dolphins 70 points terrible or anything, but yeah, right behind him, I do have Jordan Love. If you have both of them, I think you can consider playing Love above Herbert. Never know. Russell Wilson's after that. I have Josh Dobbs at 13. Again, there's still people this week talking about how he may lose the starting job for the Vikings. I don't know about you guys. I never considered that to even be a real story. That didn't make sense to me. So if you have Josh Dobbs, he's the starter until the Vikings are mathematically eliminated.
Yeah. Yeah. Plus, he gets Jefferson back this week.
Yeah. Yeah. And Josh Dobbs is another one who has been using his legs, 40 yards on the ground is pretty much a lock for him. And he's been running it in as well. Jefferson comes back. We'll talk about him in a little bit. I feel comfortable with him.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to be 100% ready to go. So yeah, I like Dobbs as well at 13. CJ Stroud, I hate. Yep. Not just the fact that he, is getting rid of or doesn't have Tank Dell anymore, but Jets are legit. Yep. So, and that's about it, I think. Any other quarterback you specifically want to talk about?
Give me, I'm between Lamar. I just told you, I picked up Lamar Jackson, my D team. Like, I'm expecting to start him. I have Justin Fields on the bench too. Is there any reason why I should start Justin Fields over Lamar Jackson?
Fields looked pretty good against the Lions a couple of weeks ago, and he's coming off a bye. So I could talk myself into it, but I'm still going to ride with Lamar Jackson most likely.
I think I'm going to ride with my guy.
Yeah.
To support your point on Herbert, guys, he has 3 out of his last 7 weeks. He's been a top 14 quarterback. That's,
Really?
I mean, he was on a fire to start off the season, but outside of Chicago, Detroit, and Green Bay, it's been bad.
Ever since he hurt his finger, he's been bad. And I don't think the finger's the issue anymore, but that was kind of the turning point, it felt like.
Zach, last week we talked about Jared Goff.
Yeah.
Are we back on him?
No. No. I mean, if he's not under pressure, he's good to go. Playing the Bears this week, that does make me a little bit nervous, not going to lie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think the Bears defense is turning around a bit. But assuming the Lions can score first, they will lean on the run. Bears have been great against the run, so we'll see. But I'm not nervous. He's just not a must start anymore. He is the bye week fill, and he's the guy you start and you feel okay about. He is back to being Jared Goff. In my eyes, everyone has their own version of Jared Goff, I feel like.
I don't disagree with you.
Yeah, it's like Talladega Nights. Everyone has their favorite version of Jesus. Jared Goff, to me, is just middle of the road. Like, if he's got a clean pocket, he'll make the throw. If he doesn't, he will look like the worst quarterback you've ever seen. And compared to the consensus, there's really only 2 that are big differences. I'm 3 higher on Tommy DeVito at 23. That's not a huge vote of confidence, but I think he's perfectly fine. And then I'm 4 lower on CJ Stroud at 16 for the reasons I already said. People have a lot of belief in him. Consensus top 12 quarterback still. And, he's only given us reasons to believe, but the Jets have also only given us reasons to believe that they are insane.
Yep. Agreed.
Any other quarterback talk before we move to running backs here?
No, I think if you're in the playoff, like if you're looking to a playoff, your quarterback's kind of set. And I think the people without quarterbacks are probably the ones that are, missing out on the playoffs here.
Yeah. A lot of quarterback injuries too. So it's been something. How do you have any confidence in Mitch Trubisky? Like, would you pick him up and start him?
Every time Mitch Trubisky comes in the game, I have confidence in him, and he always fucks up. So no, I have no confidence in him.
Sure.
I'll have a shred of confidence in him. I think if you're desperate, I think you can pick him up and start him with confidence. Granted, your options are not going to be great. But, I mean, he was serviceable for the Bears. He's had a lot of time. Not to learn the game. Obviously, he's been in the league long enough. But, he's had a lot of time in this offense, and Matt Canada isn't calling it anymore. So I think that alone should give you some sort of confidence in him.
Yeah, to that point, too, Trevor, like – he's not like Mitch Trubisky has had experience in the NFL, so maybe if you have to pick someone up, there's a sliver of he's been in a position to be the starting quarterback before. I kind of feel the same way about CJ Beathard this week as well.
That's fair. I think I have more faith in Trubisky than Beathard.
Sure,
despite, not this specific week because Trubisky has to play the Patriots, but I don't think Trubisky is necessarily better or worse than Kenny Pickett as a player.
Agreed.
But I think his situation is better for the Steelers, better for the other Steelers skill position players, just because Kenny Pickett's been so unbelievably conservative.
Yep.
Like, he's got it hammered into his brain from Matt Canada that just don't turn the ball over and we're fine, which has been the case. Like, he hasn't turned it over. He also hasn't scored, but they've been winning games. Trubisky's going to come in and try to make plays. He's going to fucking push it down the field, and he's probably going to make some mistakes, but I think it's better for all of the pass catchers for whatever that's worth. But let's talk about running backs. We'll Stu first. Who's out of the NFL first, Trubisky or Daniel Jones? That's interesting.
Daniel Jones. Trubisky's a lifelong backup to me.
I was just about to say, yeah, that's why I'd go Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I could certainly see that. I don't know much about Daniel Jones in terms of locker room guy. I know Trubisky's fine, though.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, let's talk about running backs. This is half PPR scoring because that's what Fantasy Pros grades me on. Christian McCaffrey's number 1. No surprise there versus the Seahawks. Side note, it feels weird that Christian McCaffrey's probably not going to win an award this year.
It is crazy, isn't it?
Because he's not going to win MVP, and then Tyreek's got Offensive Player of the Year.
Right.
And McCaffrey's just an all-pro, which is good, but...
McCaffrey wasn't hurt last year. He's like going comeback player of the year.
Right. But whatever. It sucks because this is one of the better running back seasons we've seen in a while.
Mm-hmm.
No, we'll give comeback player of the year to a guy who hasn't fucking played a game. Excuse me, played one.
I mean, maybe Rodgers comes back, and at that point, you have to give it to him. I have Alvin Kamara at 2 versus the Panthers. I don't feel good about anybody after Christian McCaffrey, by the way. I have Zach Moss at 3 at the Bengals. I have Saquon 4 versus the Packers, and then I have Pacheco 5 versus the Bills. Trevor, what do you think of those 5?
I mean, you're right. Outside of McCaffrey, I'm not trusting anybody outside of personally Pollard. I'm not saying that means you should be number 2, obviously, but I trust him a little bit. But I mean, Christian McCaffrey, you know what you're going to get against him, especially against Seattle. But I mean, you look at the rest of the guys, Zach Moss, he's had a great start to the season, but obviously questions there. Saquon, Green Bay rush defense should be bad, but Giants don't have a passing game. Kamara, who knows what happens with... I mean, there are so many question marks here that really CMC is the only guy you can trust. Everybody else, sure, they may have a decent floor, but, their boom is not nearly as high as, you'd usually see from the second, third, fourth running back in these positions.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of in on Kamara. Like we've talked about on the show how many weeks that like Kamara really needs to find the end zone right to kind of put up that huge fantasy day. He's putting up huge fantasy days by catching passes, and that's what kind of Kamara's been like his whole career, right? The Saints are a dumpster fire. I don't care about them at all. But I mean, if you had to pick a guy, it's Kamara, and he seems to me, I don't know about you guys, but he seems like to me that he's the real one, only real one moving this offense until they get to the 5-yard line when that fuckhead Taysom Hill comes into the game. So, maybe it's a little to Trevor's point, but you have to put a gun to your head. Like, I don't hate Alvin Kamara at all.
Yeah, I don't hate him. I think Chris Olave is actually looking decent for them moving the ball, but the Panthers have been better at stopping the pass lately. So I'm just assuming that Alvin Kamara is pretty involved. He scored last week for the first time in a while. I assume this is a game, even though the Panthers are better at stopping the pass. Like, the Saints should be able to move the ball. They should be able to score. So maybe Alvin Kamara finds the end zone again. We shall see. He certainly needs a touchdown to be number 2, obviously. I don't think that's a bold take or anything, but like, he's the only one really up there that I trust will finish as an RB1. I feel pretty good about that.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But yeah, Saquon at 4. I know I'm higher on him than everybody else. I just think he's going to do well against the Packers from everything I've seen from the Packers and Saquon.
Healthy too off a bye.
Exactly. Like, this is the week. The Giants, I think, are probably going to look pretty good this week. But we shall see. Austin Eckler's I have at 6. And that's going to be lower than the consensus, and it feels too high.
I agree,
like,
100%.
I don't know where to rank him.
It's a Cooper Kupp situation.
It is, and Cooper Kupp kind of got bailed out last week. He ended up finishing okay.
Right.
Trevor, I know you're a huge Austin Eckler fan. I assume you have a decent amount of ownership of him across your leagues. Maybe not. I'm just, guessing. But do you have... I'm not even talking about this week. Do you have any faith that he like breaks out of this slump whatsoever?
No. You go into the season like I did, and Zach, you drafted the team for me while I was at a Brewer game, and I thought, oh my God, I'm winning this league hands down. Henry, Eckler, Kupp, and McLaurin. And you go, what the hell is going to go wrong here? Clearly everything is going to go wrong there. He's just been bad. He doesn't look good. I mean, even when he gets into open space, I still cannot believe that I've seen an NFL running back move as slow as he did in that open space on that long run against the Packers. I mean, we talk about Najee Harris looking slow. That was Najee Harris like times 2. It's bad, and this offense is bad. Like, there's no reason for me to look at him and say he's going to be good, and then he's playing Denver. I mean, He's going to get a lot of checkdowns for 5 yards. It's cool, but unless you're in full PPR, like how much is that really going to help you if he doesn't hit the end zone?
I agree with almost everything you said, except for he's going to get a bunch of checks downs for 5 yards. He's not getting those either. Like, I don't know. Last week he had 2 catches, 9 yards. Week before that, 5 for 32. Week before that was the Packer game. They refused to pass it to him. 2 catches for 6 yards. Like, they're not even using him. So I don't know. That's what, like, I don't know.
Just back to like Justin Herbert, it kind of feels like they go hand in hand, right? Feels like Justin Herbert has a good week. You know, he plays well. Austin Eckler's going to play well. And then the opposite, like week 1, they were both awesome. And then obviously Eckler got hurt. And I don't know if Eckler's still kind of, I don't want to say rehabbing or rusty from an injury or whatever. But like to your point, like this offense is just bad. I've been saying it for how many weeks now? Like this offense is just not good enough to support Eckler being a number 1 back.
He's for sure not healthy.
Right.
I'm not even, like, I don't think he's even listed with an injury, but it's not a secret. He's definitely hurt. Randy says he's glad Trevor is back. And I'd like to say for all of us, Randy, we're glad you're back. I feel like it's been a second, you know? So glad you're here. Jared asks Mixon or Breece Hall PPR, and then Nico versus the Jets or OBJ versus the Rams in bad weather. I'll start with the first one. We can go around with that first. I'm going Mixon over Breece Hall.
As am I.
Agree.
And then Nico or OBJ. Obviously, Nico Collins, huge game last week, but that Jets defense is legit. I still have him ranked above OBJ, though. I think he'll get force-fed the ball enough.
I think you have to go Nico with Tank out.
I agree.
I'm going to do it just for the sake of, nostalgia. I'm going Odell Beckham.
Hell yeah. Odell revenge game.
True. I like Odell this week. I think, especially for DFS, but, there's a legit chance Odell has 0 catches, and I think there's no shot Nico Collins has 0 catches.
That's the side I'm on.
Randy asked, do I start Justin Jefferson if he's available? Yes, and he is going to be available. You're good to go. Randy Savage. That is right, Stu. I get into Randy Savage TikTok holes every once in a while.
Bet it's pretty fun.
Yeah, it's one of the better ones. I also get into a lot of other weird algorithmic stuff, and I blame other people for that. The shit that I get sent. But
I've gotten into
fun.
I've gotten into white people freestyling rabbit hole.
Okay. Again, much better than my shit. So that's great. There's too much mental illness on my fucking TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me sad more than anything.
Yep.
I don't know if this is the same thing, but all the Twitter ads are for like egg poachers and perfectly poached eggs, and it's just pissing me off at this point.
I haven't got that. So
it's horrible.
That's tame too. I remember one of the first days that Elon took over Twitter, there was some fucking fight that popped up on my feed, and someone died. And it was just someone got the shit beat out of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't even look through Twitter anymore.
I've been seeing a lot of death videos on Twitter lately.
A lot, too alarming amounts. It's not. That's Instagram did that for me like a year ago.
Yep.
Haven't used that anymore.
Nope.
I'm sure you don't even have your login still. It's
I got burners.
Great. They all have it. Randy says he enjoys the Thursday Fantasy Crew. They have good takes. That's not true.
Espinoza said sit Devontae Adams. What are we doing here?
Yeah, I know that's a lie. Okay, other running backs here. I have 18 at 11. I do have him above Mostert. Mostert's not healthy. That's the only reason for that. But I don't mind him. I have Montgomery above Gibbs. Anyone who ranks Gibbs above Montgomery, I just don't think they know what they're doing.
Right. They want Gibbs to be better. That's what it is.
That's it. You rank Gibbs above Montgomery if you think the Lions are going to be losing.
Right. Correct.
That's it.
Which is tough to argue at this point in the season.
Right. Ramondre Stevenson's going to be out. I don't think he's been ruled out officially yet. He will be ruled out tomorrow. So Ezekiel Elliott is the lead back. I currently have him at running back 27. I'll probably move him up a little bit, but I mean, this might be. It's going to be a bad game.
Yeah, horrible.
I think the over/under is at 30, and that I feel like that's drastically too high.
Yeah, this feels like another 6-0 game.
Has to.
Yeah,
it has to be. Like, unless you think Mitch Trubisky and Bailey Zappi are going to fucking light it up, I don't know why there's 30 points that are expected to be scored.
I think that this is probably the game that Al Michaels walks off set.
That would be incredible.
Yeah,
I think there's a decent chance if you're a betting person, if you can find a line for it, like there's going to be a defensive touchdown in this game.
I bet it. Yeah.
There has to be. Like with the two quarterbacks that are going to be throwing the fucking football, and the offensive lines on both teams, sure.
Do you think there's more turnovers or scores in this game?
I'm probably turnovers.
Yeah.
Unless you count field goals. I feel like we could get a few field goals in there.
I mean, let's throw field goals in there. I still think it might be turnovers.
I mean, you're not wrong. Thursday crew is the Flurry Sports we have at home. Sure.
Thanks, Stu.
That's such a good point.
I feel like Thielen can't be played anymore since Panthers developing the young guys. Can I rely on JSN or Chuba for the flex? Fully agree with your first point.
I rely on Chuba over JSN.
Yeah. Panthers play who? Just to remind myself, New Orleans. So not a great matchup. I'm still going Chuba though. Seahawks will be trailing, which is good. So then they'll go 3 wide, which is when JSN's been okay. It's just, it's hard to project him to score double-digit fantasy points.
Mm-hmm.
I got a deep dive for us on Chuba.
Let's do it.
He has finished outside the top 35 just once, twice, 3, 4 times this season. Which, look, is that getting you a lot of points? No, but it's not getting you a 0. So that's kind of what you're looking for at the flex if you're that desperate.
Panthers suck, man. Why the fuck they pay Miles Sanders?
I don't know. I think Miles Sanders is good too.
Yes, agreed.
It's not fair. It's not. They can't do this.
I know. They can't get away with it.
No, they piss me off. That team should not be bad.
No.
They're the new Lions.
I guess, and someone needs to say it. Maybe it's Deuce Staley's fault.
Could be.
He's no longer there. He also got fired. But
wasn't that a bad decision on his part?
Yeah.
I think
he went there to be assistant to the head coach or assistant head coach, whatever. Whew. I mean, I don't know. Not great.
Cam Newton must put like a hex on him or something.
Good.
Or Tepper is the worst owner in professional sports.
He's certainly up there.
He's fired 4 head coaches in the past calendar year now with football and soccer.
They've had 8 quarterbacks in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Also, how do you fire a coach in soccer? What the fuck do they even do?
I just found out they had coaches. I don't know. He had to explain it to me. Steve just says love for my homies, no diss to Noza and the boys. Yeah, they do a good job at their own thing on Thursdays, I feel like.
Just there's a reason that their podcast is not nominated for the Volume 1 awards.
That's true. Speaking of, let's pop this up here while I talk about the rest of the running backs. But we are nominated for a podcast award. Please scan the QR code to go to volume1.org. You can log in with as many email addresses that you have. Please go vote for us under the podcast category, best podcast. You can vote for up to 3 times, I believe. So the Flurry Sports Podcast, Lombardi Sweep, and Fantasy Football by Committee. Vote for all 3 of those. I want to sweep the category. That would be very fun. And most of all, fuck the RCU Money Donuts podcast or whatever. That's embarrassing that they even have a podcast. It's not okay.
No.
It's not.
Also, that's embarrassing for Chippewa Valley. Are you just going to tell people you're that boring of a fucking place?
Yeah. Yeah. And there's no shot that anyone who's listened to the podcast has voted for them. And by the way, I tried to listen to one of their podcasts. I couldn't make it past the first 30 seconds. I fell asleep, which is, maybe that's why they have listens. I don't know, but they don't post stuff even weekly. They don't even post stuff monthly. We're out here grinding for y'all. So definitely go vote for us, please. And
you know what?
it'll be
We
a good
probably
time if
make
you
you
win.
more money than them because we win you fantasy leagues worth money. What do they get you? A 1% interest rate for an extra $20 a decade? Stop it.
Stu's gonna eat your face if you don't vote. I mean, he's a psycho. I'll let him loose on you. So definitely, that is a threat, by the way. So definitely go vote for us, please. It'd be cool to win one of these awards instead of continually being nominated for podcast awards, which is a fun running bit. But at one point, the ball's got to go in the fucking hoop here.
Right.
So why not this year? But other running backs, I don't know if Najee Harris is going to play.
He hasn't practiced.
I've heard he's not.
Yeah, he hasn't practiced yet. Knee injury, I believe. So, I mean, if we get a full helping of Jaylen Warren, I think that's good. I still don't think he's an RB1 this week, given the matchup, but you for sure got to start him. And then there's no other running backs there that I am like pumping up with Najee Harris out. Other guys here, Dalvin Cook starting to get involved a little bit. Same with Chase Brown.
Get Dalvin Cook off the field. Let's let Breece Hall owners what they drafted.
Or a Banny Conda. Like let's do something. But I mean, Dalvin Cook's pissed, and rightfully so. Like,
he's not gonna be on the team next year either.
No, there's no shot he's gonna be on the team. Like, he's not gonna do this bullshit again. But yeah, I don't know. Damian Pierce, I feel like you can't start him.
I think you can start Singletary though.
Yeah, I think he's more of a flex than an RB2, but I think given the situation, I like Alexander Madison this week. We'll see if I'm higher on him in a second, but going against the Raiders coming off a bye, I think people are ignoring him. I don't know what people are overvaluing Ty Chandler. I think.
Agreed. I think that just falls into the realm of everyone still wants to find the dime in the dozen, the championship winner. Is Ty Chandler that? Probably not.
Yeah, can't imagine. Comparing to the consensus, then I'm 5 higher on Saquon Barkley. I'm 4 higher on Derrick Henry at 16. I'm 6 higher on Josh Kelly at 42. I mean, with how bad Eckler's been, Kelly's been involved.
I would say even higher than 42, to be honest.
Yeah, that's fair. That's definitely fair. I'm 8 higher on Dalvin Cook at 46. I'm 4 higher on Latavius Murray at 60. By the way, supposedly Leonard Fournette's in shape now, so we could see Leonard Fournette this week.
Well, that only took 3 years.
I don't know. It took enough time for people to forget that he's in the NFL to get in shape, but we shall see if he gets played this week. I am 4 lower on Jahmyr Gibbs at 17. I am 10 lower on Zach Charbonnet at 44. I'll bring him up a little bit if Ken Walker's out. But I don't love. Yeah, don't love him against the 49ers. I'm 5 lower on Jamal Williams at 50. He doesn't really have a role.
No, he's the odd man out in that backfield.
Yeah, I think he should have a role, but he does not. And I guess I didn't mention this. Aaron Jones, I think a pretty good shot he does not play this week. We talked about this. I talked about this on Lombardi Sweep the Thanksgiving week when I did the solo show. I wasn't really that confident he'd play this week. I'm pretty darn confident he plays next week. The fact that the Packers have gotten some wins without him gives them some time to make sure that he is 100% healthy, I would say.
It kind of looks like A.J. Dillon's kind of settling into the RB1 role too right now.
Kind of, but I mean, he's still not, like, he's not.
Of course not.
He's not good.
Right.
He's not Aaron Jones, but he's looked better. I mean, he runs with his head down sometimes. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. He's doing less east and west, a little bit more north and south. Yep. Which is good. It took long enough. Yeah. Like, I don't know. I feel like that's the only thing his high school coaches had to have told him. Like, you're 250 pounds, run forward, please. And that's it. Whatever. Any other running back to talk about?
No, the one that I was going to bring up was Najee Harris. So I'm happy we hit on that.
Yeah.
I do have a running back to bring up. How How confident are you guys in like Javonte Williams moving forward?
Mid, like I think he's a mid-tier, low to mid-tier RB2.
Yeah.
Like I'm not panicking, but Broncos red zone offense needs to be better.
It also feels like when the Broncos are kind of in like I don't want to say must win, but like in games like they were last week, it feels like he's just not involved.
No, none of the running backs really are. I feel like in crunch time they kind of trust Samaje Perine a little bit more.
Right.
But like the Broncos also aren't scoring from close.
Right.
That they're scoring from further away, which obviously doesn't help him. So I don't know. Yeah, he mid to low RB2. I don't know the Broncos schedule off the top of my head. He's one of those guys where it wouldn't surprise me if he got hot down the stretch, though.
Yeah.
We'll see. Wide receivers, though, Tyreek is at 1 versus the Titans. CeeDee Lamb 2 versus the Eagles. A.J. Brown 3 at the Cowboys. Amon-Ra St. Brown 4 at the Bears. And I'm going to go Stephon Diggs 5 at the Chiefs. I have Justin Jefferson 6 at the Raiders. Luke, what do you think of those receivers?
I think I like Stephon Diggs at 5, right? Like there's been kind of this odd situation going on where Stephon Diggs seems like he's pissed off all the time. He's still somewhat producing, he's still getting you good fantasy weeks. I mean, they're coming off a bye. The Bills, I don't want to say they're in shambles, but they are not in the spot that they want to be right now. I would imagine a lot of things hopefully got figured out on the bye week. And I think, this is as good of a week as any going against the Chiefs, a team who has kind of historically had the Bills' number to kind of prove, like, let's go out and let's fucking beat them. And I think Stephon Diggs is a big part of that. And I think Josh Allen knows it. I think Josh Allen probably needs Stephon Diggs to be good to succeed. So I'm with it. And then my other question I'm going to pose to you guys is, does Tyreek Hill get 2,000?
Probably. I don't know what he's at right now, but he's on track, isn't he? Like on pace?
He needs like 500 and change or something.
Yeah, 519. Probably. Like I would assume they're going to try. They'll make it a point. They're very aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's scary. He's so good.
Tough for all the Jalen Waddle owners.
Yeah. Yeah, I do appreciate Washington trying something different last week, though. They decided to just not cover them and see what happened.
Right.
And it didn't work, but we can scratch that off the list. Like,
maybe it didn't work because Washington wasn't good enough for it to work.
That's true. That's possible. That is possible. They refused. They're like, I'm not guarding that motherfucker. Like, he's too fast. Fair enough. Trevor, what do you think of the receivers?
I like CeeDee Lamb at 2, and I hope this next year is the first year we stop disrespecting CeeDee Lamb. I still don't know why he was going late, mid-second in many drafts when he finished as, wide receiver 6 or 5 last year, depending on PPR versus half PPR. He's been an absolute monster this year since that San Francisco game. I mean, they're getting him targets, and he's catching most of them, and he's scoring. And that's not something you could say for every receiver that gets a ton of targets, a guy like Keenan Allen in the past. So he's got some... I think he's got some great matchups to end the season. Obviously, Philly this week, Buffalo, Miami, week 16. They're going to have to get him the ball. If you have him, I think I'm most comfortable with him outside of Tyreek Hill, and I don't know if it's close.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I wonder what his home road split is. Just because the Cowboys offense is very different, home versus away or on grass versus on turf. That's my only slight worry, I guess, rest of the way. Philly this week's home. Then he's got Buffalo, Miami on the road, then Detroit home. But yeah, I'm not worried by any means. And there really isn't a number one cornerback who would be matching up with him that really scares me either. So he should be good. Mike Evans, another 1,000-yard year. He's been absolutely balling. I have him at 8. I feel good about him.
Put them in the hall.
Yeah, I don't like him, but he's been so consistent. It's insane.
Yep.
Doesn't really make sense. DJ Moore, I have at 11. I feel pretty good about him when with Justin Fields. He's been producing pretty well.
I think so too.
What's your guys' thoughts on Devontae? I have him at 16. Obviously, a matchup he's very familiar with going against the Vikings. I mean, matchups doesn't really matter though. Like, it's just, what do you think of Aiden O'Connell? Do you think he can get him the ball?
I think so. The new head coach, I'm blanking on his name, that he that came in. I think his first point of emphasis was like, we have to give the ball to Josh Jacobs, we have to give the ball to Devontae Adams, we have to give the ball to our best players in order to be competitive. I mean, that was apparent right away. I think Josh Jacobs had a huge game right away. So I'm still riding that boat of Devontae Adams is too good not to have the ball in his hands. And I hope that this coach is smart enough to know that, and it sounds like he is. So I don't think you have to worry. I think you start Devontae Adams. He's a guy you just start. Don't even think about it, and reap the benefit.
This new coach's first week is week 10 against the Jets, right? I think it was right after the Giants game.
Yeah,
Maybe it's the Giants game. I mean, either way, I mean, his targets the last 3 games before the bye were 13, 13, and 7.
I think it was the week before, wasn't it, against the Giants, his former team? He went in there and won.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So then his target since then 7, 13, 13, 7. I know targets doesn't mean points, and you'd want him to score more points than he did in those 4 games, but I mean, his floor is relatively stable. If you're looking for him for wide receiver 1 or even probably 2, you're disappointed, but he's still a very high 3, probably a low 2, depending on the team. So, I mean, I don't think you bench him for anything ever, but you got to temper your expectations.
Yeah, I'm not benching him. I'm just butthurt just because, I mean, last I saw him, Raiders had a big lead. They gave up a lead. Devontae had 0 catches in the second half against the Chiefs. And didn't feel good because I was on the side of him getting at least 2 receptions in the second half, would have got paid. And got 0. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Randy, how many days do you eat Thanksgiving leftovers? I mean, as many days as it takes, I think.
I'm still eating Thanksgiving Day leftovers.
Yeah, why not? A couple weeks, unless you're talking about Stu's talking about his grandma's meat pies. I don't know if I like that. Those be in the freezer like 8 months.
Dude, I know what he means though. You put the food in the freezer and you like forget about it. Like, you're like, oh, I gotta eat something. Then you look at it, you're like, I'm not making that right now. And then that kind of builds and builds and builds.
I just don't like the phrase grandma's meat pies. That's what I'm hung up on. I don't really care about anything else.
I don't like how he spelled grandma's either. I don't like that.
No.
I think that spelling of grandma's meat pies is better than grandma's meat pies.
I agree. I think it fits. I just don't.
No.
I don't know about
I think the syntax is correct there.
Maybe. Randy asked Herbert or Purdy. I'm going Purdy.
Purdy until you can't.
Yeah, makes me sad. Other receivers. Cooper Kupp, I still have at 26. He's kind of that wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 for me right now.
Nice to see him in the end zone.
It was, but I didn't see anything last week that changed my mind.
Nope.
I don't even know how to pronounce that. What is that?
Grandma DeBratha.
DeBratha? I don't know what that is.
No, me either, but it's funny.
It is funny. Great.
Cooper Kupp, like, he kind of reaped the benefit of Puka getting hurt there too, right?
Yeah, for sure. And it's good that, when called upon and they needed him, he did something. Theoretically, the Rams are chasing points against the Ravens this week.
Probably.
So maybe he does something, second half. It's just hard to have trust for him in general. And then the matchup against the Ravens isn't great. So, yeah, tough. I have Puka ahead of him at the moment. We'll see if Puka plays. I don't love either of them this week, though. That's about it, I think. Christian Watson, I don't expect to play. Agreed. For whatever that's worth. Chris Godwin is kind of not startable.
Nice to see him in the end zone, too.
Agreed, but
it wasn't a catch.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's very true. if you have him, I don't know who you have that you're starting over him.
I'm in a couple of my leagues. I have to start Chris Godwin, and I hate it.
Yeah. In our dynasty league, I think I'm rolling with him, Jerry Jeudy, and fucking Gabe Davis.
Yeah,
and it doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter because we have divisions.
Right.
We have divisions.
Those three guys are the exact same player.
Yeah.
Oh, if you have divisions in your fantasy league, get fucking rid of them. I'm tired.
No.
I've been fucked over the last 2 years on a bye.
Oh, sorry. I'm coasting, and then we're gonna play our best ball when it matters.
Yeah,
That's
I'm sure.
Watch. We're just getting ready.
You know what our division is, Luke? I think you're in my division. Are you? No, you're not. Your division is the East of like 2007, 2008 when it was just LeBron and the Celtics. It's like, all right, we got to redo these divisions here.
You're surely discounting how good Dwight Howard was in that time.
Their starting point guard was Jameer Nelson. Let's be realistic here.
You act like that's
respected Jameer Nelson's name.
Yeah. Fucking Hito Turkoglu starting Vince Carter. They had Big
Rashard
Baby
Lewis.
Davis coming off the bench.
Meanwhile, you have the Spurs, the Rockets, the Lakers, the Mavs, and that's just 4 right there. And you're talking about Hito fucking Turkoglu.
Yeah,
I love the man, but let's pump the brakes.
The West also had the Timberwolves and the Kings and the Clippers.
The East had the Bucks.
They're better than those 3 teams.
I don't think they were.
Yep.
Whatever. We'll see who wins the whole thing, Trevor. We'll see.
Agreed.
If it's you, I'm so fucking done.
Why? Just because our division's so tough that we cannibalize each other. That's not that. Like, what? What do you want us to say?
Your division's the Big Ten of basketball. We know they ain't winning shit when the tournament starts.
We'll see. I would have had a better team, by the way, if people knew how to fucking trade.
That's true. That's fair.
Everyone wanted to trade with me after the Monday Night Football game, which, for whatever reason, Sleeper doesn't let you. It locks after the game, not at the end of the day, which stupid. Underrated Thanksgiving food. I feel like sweet potatoes and squash are underrated because most people don't like them, I feel like.
Yeah, I despise them.
Yeah, I love them.
Sweet potatoes are underrated.
I think cranberry anything, whether it be sauce or relish, I think that's underrated.
I don't like that either.
Okay.
Green beans, I would say.
I hate green beans.
No.
Hate them. Do either of you have mac and cheese at your Thanksgiving?
Yes.
No. That's not a Thanksgiving food.
Apparently it is. Luke, you're the first person that I know personally who has it. I think it's a Southern thing.
It is. It's got to be. It's like in there with collard greens and stuff.
I'll say though that I have not had a traditional Thanksgiving dinner with family in 10 years, but I usually eat mac and cheese. I don't know.
It's always included in your mac and cheese food, whatever it be. You got to pick whatever. Mac and cheese is always there, but I've never met someone who's actually had it at their Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I bet I've had it at Thanksgiving before.
Yeah, we have not. At mine, at least.
Mac and cheese is food.
I mean, not that we need another starch, but I'd love it if it was there. I'd eat it.
Oh, yeah.
Get rid of mashed potatoes. I don't fucking care.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, mac and cheese over mashed potatoes any day of the week.
I keep the gravy, get rid of the potatoes. That's fine. Really? Would you rather get rid of the gravy?
I was going to list gravy as the underrated Thanksgiving food.
Yeah, underrated. That's fine. I'm saying to keep the gravy.
But you need the gravy with mashed potatoes. You can't just put it on the turkey and nothing else. Come on.
And put on stuffing.
And on the bun.
Drink it.
Oh, God, no.
Gravy is it's like the point guard in college basketball. It ties everything together. Keeps it all going smooth.
Bingo. What's wrong with the Chiefs receivers? They're not great.
Yeah. No
BS. Yeah. What's your ultimate Christmas dinner?
We've answered that before.
Ham and cheese potatoes, Italian sausage, spaghetti, ravioli.
I think it's my ideal one is the one we have for our big Christmas, and it's all appetizers.
Oh yeah,
love
Great.
that. Yeah, it's not like a sit down thing. So that's my ideal.
I think that my ideal meal for any holiday, let alone day of the week, is pepperoni pizza.
Not a huge pepperoni guy. I'm coming around a little bit.
You'll come around.
What about chicken on pizza though?
Yeah, good.
I like that. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Thoughts on the NBA in-season tournament? Probably the best thing that's ever happened to the sport of basketball.
Up there.
That's
It's
not
right
even sarcasm.
Yeah, it's right up there with the
Indiana was
inception of
topping.
3-point line.
It's sort of a shame how well it's gone over.
Mm-hmm. People are so mad that it's going over well too.
Yeah. Everyone bought into it as a joke. Everyone was on the same page. They were like, we love this. And then everyone's talking about it like, yeah, it's great because it's been kind of good basketball.
Mm-hmm. I mean, did you guys see that Indiana-Boston game? It was like a fucking playoff game.
That was a great one.
Well,
Yeah.
and the Bucks had the record for highest 3-point field goal percentage until Robin fucking Lopez took a 3 with 30 seconds left. But
Hey, he's feeling it. He check.
Did you see that? Did you see that stat that this is the first game that the Knicks gave up 37 points in the first 3 quarters since Wilt's 100-point game?
yeah,
Really?
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it?
Wow. And by the way, I don't know about you guys. I don't know if that happened.
I 100%. I'm solely believed it happened. I want to believe it, so I believe it because that's so fucking cool.
But you believe it happened.
Yes,
I don't.
I do.
even if
I
it
think it's
did,
bullshit.
Will Chamberlain's the most overrated player in NBA history.
All right, let's pause the brakes. Pump the brakes here.
That's like me playing basketball against a bunch of 5th graders. Of course I'm going to get buckets. I'm taller. I'm a foot taller than everybody.
Okay, so you say that, but everyone else says, "Oh, Bill Russell's the greatest player of all time." Will babied Bill Russell.
Yeah. Bill Russell was not that great either.
He's the most overrated player in NBA history.
Wilt also played with numerous STDs at one time, which is something to admire. He's got to be itchy all over. Have you ever done anything having like an itch? Like I can't concentrate.
Horrible.
Yeah. He's
I thought
blocking
you were going
shit
to ask
everywhere.
if we've done anything with an STD, and that would have been an interesting question.
That's next week. We'll talk about it. Wilt did not land on the moon. I agree.
That's a knock on his resume. If we talk about Hall of Fame legacy right here.
That's true. That's true. Stoof could eat a pallet of cranberry sauce, no cap. Do you like the jellied cranberry sauce though, Stoof?
Ooh.
Like the cheap ass stuff, and that's not a shot at it. But do you like the cheap stuff, or do you like a relish that has like orange and stuff in it? Because that's pretty divisive within like my family. I feel like a lot of people don't like the jelly stuff. I like both. I'm an equal opportunity guy.
Yeah, that's fair. Speaking of the jelly, my parents were in Florida. They bought me a jar of Mountain Dew jelly.
Really? Is it just Mountain Dew?
I haven't opened it yet. No, it's like, I don't know. It's like jellified Mountain Dew, I guess.
Interesting. It's kind of giving me it's kind of grossing me out.
I don't know. I think it looks good. I think it'd be good.
Hell yeah, Stu. Hell yeah. If you are really struggling at wide receiver and you need someone to pick up, I feel like a sleeper who's, I assume, unowned in almost every league, and you guys, I think, will agree. I think you could probably go get Dontavian Wicks, and I think he's going to be okay with Christian Watson out.
You like him more than Malik Heath?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and we'll talk about next show. I think the Giants have been unable to really run Wink's defense for the most part just because they don't have the personnel. However, I think this is a good opportunity for them because I think they can win in man coverage more often than not against these Packer receivers. But one of the receivers that I believe can beat man coverage is Wicks. I think Jaden Reed's the other one. I don't think Romeo Doubs can.
No, Dobbs just out-muscles people.
Right. Or just fucking falls down and takes 3 Chiefs defenders out because they thought, oh, the ball's not there.
Yep.
One of the sneaky guys, too, I mean, not this week because he's out with the concussion, and Zach, you were the first to kind of bring him up. Demario Douglas for the Patriots. Wide receiver 29, 31, 26, 40 over the last 5 weeks. I mean, that's nothing great, but everybody's got injuries. That's a bench piece for sure.
For sure. And he's been quarterback proof, with those shitty quarterbacks in New England. With him out, I mean, Devontae Parker, he's also nursing an injury, surprise, surprise. But I expect him to play. He's probably going to be okay. He's been pretty good when he's actually played this year. He's just been hurt so much. Other than that, like I think Hunter Henry is going to benefit a little bit from the people being out. I know Luke wants me to say fucking Tyquan Thornton.
Broke my heart that he dropped that bomb last week.
Yeah. I will say I did my rankings and I went back to add him because I'm like, no one's ranking this motherfucker. Like, he should be ranked. Like, he should be the wide receiver 2 this week. Whatever that's worth to you. We'll see. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. I was gonna say it wouldn't surprise me if he caught like a 50-yard touchdown tomorrow night.
He should have last week.
Right, but that's like the only Patriots touchdown. Might be the only offensive touchdown of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So that one surprised me. That would be the way the Patriots score. So, I mean, have him on your radar. Maybe a DFS dart throw. I don't know. Yeah. Compared to the consensus, I'm 5 higher on Drake London at 27. I'm 6 higher on Elijah Moore at 32. I guess I'm 4 higher on Chris Godwin at 40. I'm 10 higher on Dontavian Wicks at 49. I'm 14 higher on Parker Washington at 73. He's the rookie that came in for Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk, hernia, going to be out probably for the rest of the fantasy season here.
I'm a nut. That would suck.
That would suck. I am 4 lower on DK Metcalf at 23. I'm 6 lower on Nico Collins at 24. 4 lower on Calvin Ridley at 33. 7 lower on Adam Thielen at 37. And 6 lower on Tyler Lockett at 43. Any of those guys stand out?
Like, I don't think Tyler Lockett, you need to debate whether to start him or not.
I hope you don't.
Yeah,
I don't know why you would be starting him right now.
Right.
Same thing for me with Thielen. I mean, great start to the season. That's awesome. He's just not a thing.
Especially with Frank Reich not there anymore. Like he's there because of Frank Reich and rightfully so. They need to see what they have in all these young receivers that I think have talent. Like they have talent and youth on that roster. They just need to, see who's worth going forward with, I guess.
That's not true.
Like, Marshall's still there.
He's there to win a Super Bowl. That's why he's there.
He did say that. He did. He's also there because they put a golf simulator into the locker room, and he seemed very, very interested in that in every interview I heard from him this offseason. So I think he's more interested in that. Tight ends, Travis Kelce, I still have at 1 versus the Bills. I'm not convinced he's fully healthy.
Agreed.
I think I said this on the Flurry Sports podcast. I think he's hurt, but we'll see. I have Hawkinson at 2 at the Raiders, Laporta 3 at the Bears, Kittle 4 versus the Seahawks, and Dalton Kincaid 5 at the Chiefs. Zach Ertz has not signed anywhere yet, I should say. I think he's going to sign somewhere and be fantasy relevant, though. Wouldn't surprise me if he goes to the Eagles. Wouldn't surprise me if he goes to the Ravens.
Would you pick him up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like if he goes to the Ravens, I think he might be a top 10 tight end.
Okay. I'm with it.
Trevor, what do you think of those tight ends?
Yeah, something's not right with Travis Kelce. I'm not putting him 1. I can certainly see why he should be in the top 5. Obviously, he gets targets and stuff, but I mean, this is not the Travis Kelce from years past. For people like me who have him on their team, I hope you got a lot of depth other places because this is not what you expected from likely your first round pick. But I like what you get from Hawkinson, Laporta, Kittle, Kincaid, Ferguson. Seems like a really weird hot streak for tight ends. Only the top 6, really, because right after that we go to Taysom Hill. But tight ends ended a lot better than I thought they would have when Mark Andrews went down.
Yeah. And I like how we all believe truly, and it's true, Travis Kelce hasn't been playing very good. He's also been a top 10, top 7 fantasy tight end in 6 of his past 8 games. So, like, it just shows how much of a head start, really, he had over the rest of the position. But yeah, clearly he's not 100% healthy. I think the Chiefs are also managing him just because they don't need to win game. It's pretty similar to me in the Dynasty League. Didn't really need to win last week, and the Chiefs didn't need to beat the Packers. So they just need to keep him healthy for the playoffs. And I'm doing a very similar thing. Trust me. Trust me, Trevor. Get ready. I do have Taysom Hill at 7. I just think he is playing too many positions on an offense that's lacking in weapons. So he probably has a good chance at a touchdown. And that's all we're really hoping for.
Okay.
Yeah. I have Cole Kmet at 9 versus the Lions. I think he's good with Justin Fields. I do have Evan Engram at 8. I might move him up. I think Christian Kirk going down helps Engram a decent amount.
Yeah, I mean, it showed immediately last week.
Yeah. Yep. Also, we didn't say it. I think Zay Jones is worth a pickup too.
Yep, 100% agree.
I don't really know who else you really trust. Zach Wilson's back at quarterback, which means I think Tyler Conklin's relevant. We'll see if Dalton Schultz plays this week. What?
Jake Ferguson.
What about him?
He's trustworthy.
Yeah. I was just talking about like other tight ends to talk about. Jake Ferguson's all right though. He's been kind of riding a touchdown streak though.
I mean, he destroyed Philly last time he played him this year.
Right. Yeah. I think he's a tight end 1 for sure.
Yeah.
I don't think he's in the first few tiers. Like I think he's a guy still who's like, you're hoping for a touchdown. If he doesn't get a touchdown, he's probably the same as 20 other guys.
Sure.
But I like him. Tucker Kraft has a decent role with the Packers right now. Packers are finally looking into the middle of the field a little bit, which has helped out him. Tanner Hudson's getting targets in Cincy. I think if you are desperate at tight end, I think he could do worse than him. We'll see if the Raiders get Michael Mayer involved after the bye. Probably not, but they definitely should. And that's about it. I think. What the fuck's his name? Darren Waller not playing this week still for sure. For some reason, it sounds like he may start practicing next week. I don't know. Like why? I don't know. I don't know why. But I think he is going to try to come back this year. But at that point, right? It's like, okay, he comes back and you're in the fantasy playoffs. I'm not starting him his first week back. No shot.
You get one. You have to rely on him to win you a championship on your championship team. That's not happening either.
No. If I made it there, I'd probably have a tight end option I like more.
Yes.
And if he wins, you look stupid. And if you lose in your playoffs because of him, you also look stupid.
Yeah. I have him. I think I only have him in one league, maybe a couple leagues, but like one of them is the 16-team PPR league that you're also in, Luke. He's in my IR slot, so he's not taking up a bench spot. My other tight end was Luke Musgrave, who's essentially done for the fantasy year. My starting tight end's Tucker Kraft. So in that scenario, I'm willing to keep him around. But like, I don't know.
Yeah. That was a league where I accidentally only drafted 2 running backs, and one of them was Aaron Jones.
Yeah, that makes sense, huh?
Yep.
Trevor, you would love that league. That one has 4 divisions.
Yeah.
I went from 7th place to 1st place in 1 week because I moved up in my division.
It's a Henry league. Shenanigans are going to be afoot.
Yep.
I've been in 16 in that league all year since week 1.
Yeah, I mean, running back situation, that's not great.
Mm-hmm.
Should I trade it with me? I have like 5 running backs.
Yeah, well, really no.
Yeah, it's too late. Can we all also? I was playing a guy. He needed to win. He's playing me, and he canceled the trade on me. Like he had guys on bye, so he couldn't start TJ Hawkinson or Josh Jacobs against me last week. I was giving him players who were active. It's the guy who accepted the trade previously, then canceled it because Luke Musgrave got hurt and he didn't know. So then he did it again. Like I wrote to him like, if you lose against me this week, you're fucked. You're done.
Right.
And he decided to just play it out and lose. So whatever. That pissed me. I could have had TJ Hawkinson. That's why I'm angry. Can we all agree Tyreek has been saving Mahomes for years now?
Yes.
No. Bob Cousy, I mean, he's made him better for sure, but yeah. Bob Cousy's meat pies don't even hit like that. Oh, there's one. Y'all think Bill Russell more overrated than Bob Cousy?
Certainly.
My grandma could cross that bit up. No cap.
Your grandma could cross a Bill Russell too. I want to break that to you.
I mean, with meat pies like that, I agree. I agree. There's a potential out in Waller's contract this year. They got to pay him $10 million plus 3 more years. Think they keep him?
No.
I think so. I think they will, given how that owner usually does business.
I guess, yeah. That's fair. I don't think they should keep him.
I get it. I get it. But I mean, who... In a way, I think the Giants are somewhat surprisingly actually built to contend very soon. And what I mean by that is I think they have decent wide receivers. If Darren Waller, is healthy, he's kind of in that receiving group. Saquon Barkley's healthy in the prime right now if he's good to go. Offensive line, I think, is 1 or 2 guys away, despite how bad they've looked overall. Defense has some young guys. They just need to bring a couple more. If they nail quarterback, get rid of Daniel Jones, whatever. If they nail at quarterback and get a really good rookie quarterback in there with those receivers and everything like that, and they can spend money on defense, I think they could contend pretty quickly.
Okay.
But it's the Giants. So, I mean, they're probably going to suck, I think some people are talking about Dayball being on the hot seat.
No chance.
I don't think so either.
Didn't he recently win Coach of the Year, like last year? Or 2 years ago? Yeah.
Yeah.
No chance.
That means nothing.
No chance. That saves your job for 3 years if you win Coach of the Year.
That's it.
NFL, maybe not the NBA.
I guess it didn't really for Matt Nagy, huh?
Different sport, but remember Dwayne Casey got fired the same year he won it?
Same year, yeah.
Crazy.
Let's look at the recent NFL coaches of the year. Dayball last year, Vrabel, Stefanski, Harbaugh. Nagy's the only one who doesn't currently have that job. Then McVay, Jason Garrett in 2016, obviously fired a little after. Ron Rivera, 2015. Bruce Arians, Rivera, Bruce Arians again. Interesting. Jim Harbaugh.
I was not a Bruce Arians fan.
I love Arians. I love him. I'm surprised you don't like him, actually. I feel like you would love him.
No, he's kind of boomer to me.
Oh, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think you should look into him a little more. I think you would like him. He gives 0 fucks about everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Something about him turned me off of him.
Fair enough. Caleb could end up in Giants, unfortunately. Probably. I mean, you're talking to the wrong guy. I'm kind of, I don't know. I'm indifferent on Caleb Williams.
I don't like him.
Me neither.
Okay.
I don't think he's the generational guy that
No.
everyone's hyping him up. I don't get it.
No, I agree.
Playing in the Pac-12 is like playing in the Big 12 defensively, and it's
Hey,
even
come on,
probably worse.
He's also sitting out his bowl game because he doesn't want to put even more bad tape on film.
Fair.
Like, he's had some bad games.
Very bad games.
I said it on Twitter. I got killed.
Mm-hmm.
People hate me for it. Like, I don't know. And I don't like the crying after the game. I don't care.
No,
I don't
hate
like
it.
that. I don't like painting your fingernails. Fuck Utah. That's stupid.
Right.
I don't get it. I don't think he's bad. I just don't get it.
Also, you can't cry when you make fun of an opponent for crying the year before. That's not how it works.
He just doesn't feel.
He doesn't feel like a franchise guy.
It doesn't feel like he has that it factor. It really doesn't.
The market would eat him the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like the New York Giants.
Yeah. Nah, I like Utah.
Yeah, nothing bad ever happens in Utah.
Mm.
Well, except for Gabby Petito, but that's a different story.
that was something bad, though. You're right.
There are a lot of bad. Carl Malone.
I was trying to quote Josh from Drake and Josh there.
Okay. You leave Carl Malone alone. The mailman deserves some shine.
I disavow that,
The
Zach.
mailman needs to leave those 16-year-olds alone. Then I'll leave him
Or
alone.
13-year-olds.
You would say that if he won a ring.
Jesus.
You know, it's just low-hanging fruit at this point. A lot of aliens in Utah, though.
Isn't it
Right.
wild that Rodman's won multiple leagues, one of the best rebounders of all time, and we make fun of him for like dating Carl Electra instead of Karl Malone for, sex with 13-year-olds?
I think Karl Malone gets what's given to him.
I was going to say, if you said he gets a bad rap, we might have to have a conversation.
I love Karl Malone. It's so unfortunate.
No, I think he's fairly judged.
Oh, I was heartbroken when I found out. Like, it can't be him. Let it be John Stockton. I don't give a fuck about John Stockton.
John Stockton also not a very good human being.
No, he's an asshole. Complete prick. Like him though too. I like Jerry Sloan.
Also not a great human being.
He's fine.
Thank God the Jazz never won shit.
God, not fair. Not fair. Carl just got giddy. Good one. That's a good one. Is he still playing right now? There's no way, right?
Yeah.
He was.
Is he?
Yeah.
Are we're just ignoring it for a while or what?
Yeah.
The girl and her family
Just
worked
like we
cooperatively
did
with the police.
Karl Malone.
So they weren't cooperating. Okay, fine. Okay, cool.
I mean, what more can you do?
I guess.
You know,
Don't say that with a smile on your face.
I don't.
Very
I want to show support that I am not for being a predator, but like, what more can you do?
Yeah. I mean,
She's
not
got
that we
friends,
need to
they
be
all
the show to
talk.
fucking talk about this, but if it's consensual, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. What's the age of consent in Australia? That's where he's from, right?
It is like 16, I think.
I'm just happy I'm not in his situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I don't know.
How are we not number one podcast by a mile? You listen to a banking podcast over this? Come on.
I don't get it.
This kind of ties in, or kind of segues, but
Great.
I recently learned that the term Riz stems from the word charisma.
Oh,
Yeah,
I did not know that actually.
yeah.
I'm going to
That
be
makes
honest. I
sense.
didn't know that either. I was so
Yeah.
worried where you were going with that.
Mind blowing.
Wow. Yeah, I did not know that. Did anybody in the chat, Stoof or Randy, did you know that? In Utah, you could only do that stuff as your sister. That's true. That is true. Nothing bad happens in Utah, though. Let's remember that.
What up, Chris?
What's up, Chris? Sorry you're sitting through
Speaking
this.
of sisters, roll tide.
True. Chris, are you going to try out for the Arena League in Minneapolis? You should do that. Definitely go play there.
So Florida State got royally fucked, huh?
They deserve it.
I get that they deserve it, and I get like Alabama, Michigan's a better matchup. I get all that, but I mean, 13-0.
Yeah, they should feel bad. They should be angry.
An
They just
undefeated
need to be
4-5.
angry.
Yeah.
At the same time, like, who is their former player? It's like, this is ridiculous. And his 11-1 Florida State team got in over an 11-1 Notre Dame team that they lost to.
Garner, not too old. How much running you got to do in an arena? Not that much.
And you can push people over the boards.
That's
I think.
true.
I don't know.
I mean, yeah, I've seen you get into it with some DNs. I feel like you could just destroy people in the boards in arena. Stoof, Keon, Coleman, Neighbors, or Adunzi.
I like Coleman.
I like them all. I'm partial to Adunzi.
I guess. Yeah, that makes sense.
I like that Washington team, man. I don't like the shit that they're getting. Like, I think they're good. People are acting like they don't belong.
There's an argument that they should be the number one team in those rankings.
Nah.
I could see the argument. I think Michigan's better, but I mean, that Pac 12, 10, whatever, they were stacked. They were good.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you guys were having the conversation. I still think Oregon's one of the better teams in the country as well.
That's fair. I think I think Ohio State probably should be in. I think Georgia should probably be in. Like, if we're being honest, for like the best teams, it's probably Michigan, Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
But
it is every year.
Right. I think Washington was right there, though. There's no shot Florida State was 6. Like, I love they did it perfectly though. It's like, okay, go beat Georgia. You said you wanted to knock off Georgia, go play Georgia. And they're gonna get boat raced, even though Georgia's gonna be sitting everybody.
Yep. If I'm Florida State, I'm boycotting that bowl.
Florida State? No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You
Win
can't.
it, then you have to win. You absolutely have to win.
That's why I'm boycotting it. There's no chance.
They're in a lose-lose situation here.
Right.
Because even
That's why
if
they
they
boycott.
win, it's like, oh, great, you beat the team that lost to Alabama. Nice, you still don't deserve to get in.
NCAA says fuck you to Florida State. Florida State says fuck you right back to the NCAA.
I mean, that's kind of how the Flurry Sports podcast went this week, if you listened.
Yeah.
Exactly, actually. Gardner 34 sitting in my camper and on a boat on the weekends. Fair enough. But,
Hell yeah. That's the way to live life.
I agree, but I don't know. I feel like you got one more. You got one more in you. Randy wants to know how you vote for us. And let me show you, Randy. If you scan this QR code or go to volume1.org/best of, it'll take you to the voting page. Log in with as many email addresses as you have. That's how many votes you get. You can vote up to 3 times per each email. But under media and info, best podcast is right there. You can click fantasy football by committee, Flurry Sports Podcast, Lombardi Sweep. Vote for all 3 of them. And we are looking to sweep the category. So please go do that. Again, scan the QR code. It'll take you right there. Otherwise, volume1.org/best of.
And let it be known, if we win or are invited, shenanigans will be afoot.
100%. 100%. If you don't think that I will slam RCU in the accepted speech, you got another thing coming.
Shout out Stoof, man, for the brand.
62 emails. You guys already won. I mean, cool. Janet also said she shared it with her family, and I feel like she's got a big family. So
I feel like,
we'll see.
Yeah, I think Janet shared it with her Ravagous horny old men cult as well too. So,
but there weren't a lot of people liking or retweeting it, so I don't know what was going on.
We should do a pizza party. I like that, Stoof. If we win pizza, we'll do a pizza party stream. It'll be a good time.
But we should do it open to Stoof and Randy at a random location in Wisconsin.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If you guys show up, not like that. Pizza on us, Stoof. You bring grandma's meat pies. It'll be a good time. We'll party it up. I don't think we need to compare these tight ends to the consensus. We'll see if Dalton Schultz plays this week. Even if he does, I don't love him.
Agreed.
With Tank Dell out, I think rest of season Schultz gets up a little bit. Damn, the power of horny old men far exceeds my capabilities. I mean, those people on Twitter are wild. So.
Ravengers.
They were in this chat for a while, and that was wild.
They were. I'm not sure why that guy didn't ask me to stand up and turn around.
Right.
But that's fine. Yeah, appreciate you, Garner. Anything else you guys want to talk about before we get off of here, and then we'll start up Lombardi Sweep in a little bit.
Mm-mm. I'm gonna say, everyone watching now, watch Lombardi Sweep. I got a great debate question for us on the show.
Tease. That's a sports talk tease right there.
Mm-hmm.
Trevor, do you have anything to tease for next show?
Absolutely not.
Perfect. Love it. We'll be back again next Wednesday. Favorite beer?
Whoa. Whoa.
Hot tub pizza party. That's very true.
Amaranth, Stoof. Text her, let her know. Or Dua Lipa put her phone number on Twitter. Maybe I can get her over there.
She did. I got to craft the perfect text to Dua Lipa. We'll see. That, or maybe I'll ask if she can vote for us. Maybe she will.
That's true.
That'd be cool. We can invite her to the acceptance, to the award show then. Randy wants to know favorite beer.
Ooh, Corona Extra with a lime.
Really?
I'm going Corona as well.
Really? Wow.
That's my go-to beer in the summer.
I really like Liney Sunset Wheat. That might be mine.
Okay.
That's a limited one. That's the fall beer.
Yep.
but I do have like 36 cans I'm looking at up there. We're stacked up. We're good for the winter.
Hell yeah.
Trevor getting a little too desperate for Amber. Yeah, dial it back a little bit. Otherwise, she may not be interested.
We're gonna go take a cold shower.
Garner will be back right here for Lombardi Sweep. So, yep, it'll be on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. All the above. Favorite concert we've been to? Here Come the Mummies is mine.
McCartney
did do well too.
Haven't been to one.
We got to get you to one.
We'll unpack that.
Yep.